So Halloween 2018 gets rid of all that other bullshit we had to deal with for the past 40 years and picks up right after the first movie, continuing the story of Laurie Strode and Michael Myers. Well guys, welcome to the final video in my Halloween review series, except for of course my updated ranking of all the movies, including Season of the Witch. But that aside, today we're reviewing Halloween 2018, which was the first Michael Myers movie I saw in the theater. Now, let me start off by saying, I'm not in the camp that says this is a perfect movie and says, oh, it's the best since the original, because it's not. Those people, alright, maybe that's their genuine opinion, which it isn't mine, but maybe it is theirs. Which, okay, it probably is, but I'm not saying this for all of them, but there's people that say this movie has no negatives, and if that is their legit thoughts, I'm proud that they love this movie. I love it, but not as much as them. Not to that level. But, really, I think, because when this movie came out, there were people, let's say people didn't like this movie, they were getting hate for it, man. They were saying, oh, like, let's say someone liked Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, but they didn't like Halloween 2018, they were getting the comments saying, oh, this guy likes Rob Zombie Halloween 2, who gives a fuck what he thinks? But those type of people, they know there's negatives, they know there's things with the dad, they know there's things that are negatives, but they're so blinded by the hype and anticipation that has come for like the 2.5 years before this movie's release that they didn't notice them. They noticed them, but they didn't want to. They said, oh, that doesn't exist for me. But those are the type of people that are hating. Believe me. Maybe there's a few that those are their genuine thoughts, but believe me, for the most part, those are the type of people. Okay. Well, with that aside, on to my thoughts on Halloween 2018. Now, as I said before, this was my first Michael Myers movie I saw in the theater, but even in the theater, I acknowledged that there were a lot of problems with this. So, for most movies, I usually start out with my positives and then I get into my negatives, but for this movie, I'm going to change it up a bit, and we're going to start off with my negatives and get into my positives so we can end this review series on a great note. Alright, so, starting off with my first negative, the humor. I remember when I was sitting in the theater, and I was 12 at the time, October 20th, 2018, because I saw it on a Saturday and not a Friday opening day, and I remember, as soon as the humor came, when the dad said, I got peanut butter on my penis, I went, oh god, yes, modern day horror film, of course, there's a lot of cringe-worthy dialogue. I remember I did this in the theater. God. I remember. And I thought to myself, really? Like, that's what you come up with? You got John Carpenter behind your back saying, you get it. And he's even like, yeah, man, this movie's great. And if you could trust anything to give you his legit thoughts, his 100% opinion, it's John Carpenter. He will tell you what he thinks. Even his own movie, Halloween 2, he told you that he didn't like his own movie, Halloween 2. He wrote the script on a 6-pack of beer. And he really liked this movie, which gave a lot of people hope. And I can't be the only one who did that in the theater. I can't be the only one who did that in the theater when the dad said it. And not just that, like, there's all this humor that feels out of place. Like, there's a scene, and I'm not making this up if you haven't seen the movie, which, if you haven't seen the movie, there's a spoiler warning, and it came out 2 years ago, guys. If you haven't seen it yet, you're not gonna see it. But back to what I was saying. There's a sequence in between two very intense scenes of two cops arguing about their lunch. I remember, but for some reason in the theater that didn't catch my attention like the dad did. Ray, his name was. It didn't catch my attention. I don't know. I guess because I was really into the movie, so I was just like, when's the scene gonna end? Come on, let's get back into the action. And I wasn't even really paying attention to it. But I remember, okay, the cop says, I got a bomb meat sandwich. You see, it's like a combination of anything you want in between two pieces of bread. And then the other guy's like, oh, I got a brownie. Don't worry, I'm fine. And then the other guy's like, oh, that's what a 5-year-old would eat if they can make their own lunch. That's legitimately what he says. I swear, guys, that's what he says. That's the exact words. That's what a 5-year-old would eat if they can make their own lunch. Whose idea was this? And there's so much more I could go into. And a lot of people that were like me and didn't like the humor, they said that the only humor they liked was the kid at the the little kid with his babysitter talking about, oh, I know you're gonna bring your friends over here and smoke some weed. I'm gonna tell my mom. That kid, they all said, oh, I love that kid, even though they didn't like the humor. I hated that kid. I remember seeing that in the theater, and I didn't mention this yet in my review, but Michael Myers did kill a kid in this movie, which I'll get into in my positives. And I was thinking, while I was watching this scene, I was thinking, I hope Michael Myers kills this kid. I want that Michael Myers to kill this kid. He killed the other kid. Please let him kill this kid. This kid was so annoying. He was like his babysitter was talking on the phone with her friends, and she was like, oh, bring the Alakazam, and the kid's like, oh, I know you're talking about smoking weed. I'm gonna tell my mom. And then she goes, well, I'm gonna tell your mom about your browser history, which. No, I just wanted the kid to die. And not only that, when his babysitter is getting killed, when his babysitter is getting killed, he's like making jokes and going, oh shit, oh, I gotta get the fuck out of here. He's like making jokes, and it's just like, oh god. And it's like a scene where we should be gripping our seat, but he's making jokes, and the audience is laughing, and I'm thinking, god, man. That's what I was thinking in the theater. I was thinking. No. Just no. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, my next positive. The Sartain twist. Whose idea was it to put this twist in? There's no need for it. I mean, okay, Michael Myers escaped from a bus crash. We weren't asking ourselves who escaped, who caused the bus crash. There's no need for this scene. It does explain that, but we weren't asking this question in the first place. Okay, the bus crashed, so maybe there was a deer in the road or something. I don't know. But why, man? Why do you have to insert... I remember when I saw this twist in the theater, I was watching it. I was really intense. I was really interested in the movie because they just hit Michael Myers with their car, and the other cop's like, oh, I'm still gonna blow this motherfucker's brains out. And then Sartain's like, oh, you killed him. Because he's like... And they kind of allude to this scene early on in the movie, like that he goes, oh, it's a very important opportunity to study the mind of evil. You see, Michael's very interesting. And you can tell he's infatuated with Michael, but we don't see it as that he would do that. I mean, we see him as just like the Donald Pleasance character, but sort of the opposite angle where he wants to he doesn't really care about the safety of the people. He just cares about studying Michael. And there's even a line in this movie where Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis's character, refers to Dr. Sartain as the new Loomis. No, he's not the new Loomis. Donald Pleasance is the new Loomis. Malcolm McDowell, as Loomis, in Rob Zombie's Halloween 1, was a better Loomis than this guy. No, he's not the new Loomis. He's just not. Back to what I was saying about the twist. So he kills the cop with like a pen that is apparently a knife. Kills the cop so the cop doesn't kill Michael Myers. Loads the cop into his car and make room for my patient. And when I was watching it in theater, I didn't know what was going on until like they actually explain it. They actually have to like force the dialogue into your face to explain it. And it feels just so forced. It doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel natural. It feels so forced. It feels like someone just went like this, took two scenes and went like this, took this, put it in the middle. That's it. All to get Michael to Laurie's house, which I've seen that as like an excuse some people would make. Oh, they gotta get Michael to Laurie's house because they're not brother and sister. Why couldn't they just have it that one of two things? Either he's going after her because she's the one who got away 40 years ago. She's the one that escaped 40 years ago out of his hands, and the reason that he is locked up in Smith's Grove Sanitarium all this time for 40 years with the rage just building up in him. She's the reason, and he wants to go after her. That's not... Why couldn't they just have done that? Or Allison runs away. He kills the cop and Sartain, and Allison runs away and tries to get to her grandmother Laurie's house, and he chases her there, and that's how you could have the final showdown between him and Laurie Strode. They didn't do that. I don't know why they didn't think of that. I thought of that, and if I was able to think of two things that quickly right off the spot, them sitting in the production room for like 2.5 years before this movie came out, they should have thought of something great, okay? They should have thought of something way better than what I came up with. They should have thought of something. And this is what you give us? This twist that comes out of nowhere and doesn't even make sense to begin with? And how is he planning on going into work the next day? Because this only works... I mean... Really, the only way this feels normal if he thought in his head, okay, I'm going to study the mind of evil, and then I'm going to get... Maybe that was his plan, to kill himself after. But, because how was he planning to go into work the next Monday, like after? And he was just, how was he going to explain himself? How was he going to explain himself? Like, how? I don't know. Maybe he was going to kill himself after. I don't know. But logically and looking at the spectrum of things, that doesn't make sense. Now my next negative. Okay, this movie negates all these movies. So they negated Halloween 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, H2O, Resurrection, Rob Zombie's 2 movies, and this is the next one. So they negated all those movies and continued after Halloween 1. Now, I have an issue with that because they negated all those movies, yet they'll throw in like references all throughout the movie. Like, okay, I'll point out all the references. Like, there's references to Halloween 1 nonstop. It's kind of reversed, which I'll get into in another negative, but excuse me. And Halloween 2, Mrs. Elrod and, all that shit. Halloween 4, the gas station, and that whole love triangle between Allison and Cameron at the dance. Halloween 5, the 2 stupid cops. Halloween 6, a doctor who's orchestrating all the events to try and, understand Michael Myers and who's behind all the evil going on. Halloween H2O, the bathroom scene. Halloween Resurrection, there's a truck that says Resurrection on it. I didn't notice that. Someone else pointed that out to me. No one I knew, just I found that out on YouTube. Because how are you gonna see that first viewing? Rob Zombie's Halloween, the mask, it's all cracked. At least that's what I thought. It's all cracked. I just think of Rob Zombie's Halloween when I see the mask. And Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, the head stomp. All those references for movies you just wiped out because you you think they are dog shit. I mean, John Carpenter, on an interview before this movie came out, he said, on a talk show, the guy asked him, why the need to get rid of all the sequels? And John Carpenter said something like, I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, have you seen the fucking sequels? Or something like that. Essentially saying that he thinks the sequels are awful and horrible. And yet they have to throw references. Oh, don't worry. You didn't have this movie, but don't worry. We'll put it in there for you. You got rid of these movies. Why you gotta insert references into it? And in Halloween Kills, I see in like those 2 trailers, we can see that there are references still in that movie to all these other sequels. Why? I mean, didn't you learn your lesson with people's complaints? Why are you putting references in? I don't get it, guys. And my next negative. Okay, the references for Halloween 1. Okay. All of them work pretty fine. But there's one in particular when I saw it in the theater. Okay, when Laurie falls off the balcony and Michael Myers looks over and sees that she's gone, I thought, okay. Now, it doesn't bother me that much now. It bothers me a little bit now. But when I saw it in the theater, I remember thinking, okay, you're going a little bit overhead here. You're going too far. Like, you're going a little bit overhead with these references to Halloween 1. I get it. You're trying to pinpoint that 40 years ago she was doing all this to him, and now she's like reversing the steps, and she's trying to cause the horror that he did to her 40 years ago to him. I get it, but you don't have to like shove it in our face. Don't. Stop. Oh, thank God we got all that shit out of the way. Now, let's talk about the awesome metalness of this movie that made my experience great seeing this in the theater. Now, wow. Oh, there's a lot to talk about here. The mask, I remember, man. The mask is incredible. It looks so much like the original mask. It looks just exactly like the original mask, except it has the perfect amount of weathering to it. Fuck what I said in my Michael Myers mask ranking. It has the perfect amount of weathering to it, like perfect amount of like grunge to it to make it different. It looks exactly like the original mask, but it has the perfect amount of difference to it. Like it looks weathered. It's been sitting in an evidence locker for 40 years, and really, when you think about it, the mask is what set Michael off. He was sitting there silently for 40 years in his handcuffs, standing in the room, sitting at a wall, standing in a room, staring at the wall. It's not speaking a word for 40 years. So, and in 55 years, from when he was 6 years old, for 15 years, then he got loose, then 40 years has gone by until this movie. In 55 years, he has only had one night of freedom, one night to get out and do whatever he's got to do. Because those other movies don't exist right now. So he only has one night. He only had one night in 55 years. Now all that anger is building up in him, and that's the alarm that triggered him off. He was waiting for some secret silent alarm to trigger him off. That's the alarm. Because those 2 journalists came in with the mask trying to get him to say something, and they held it up, and he felt the mask. That was what set him off, and he realized, okay, it's time. I have to leave here, and I gotta wreak mayhem on the town of Haddonfield once again. That was what set him off. That set him off. Wow. Cryptic stuff. And now, not just that entire opening scene, I remember sitting in the theater, and really, I didn't become interested in this movie. I mean, okay, I'm gonna sound like a poser here, but I didn't think, okay, I was always a Michael Myers fan, but there was like 2 years in my life where I was watching nothing but Walking Dead, and I forgot about all the other horror movies, and it was just Walking Dead, Walking Dead, Walking Dead. Who cares about Michael Myers? No one cares. No Jason, no Freddy. It was just Walking Dead. That my entire attention was dedicated to Walking Dead. I was looking at all the news for Walking Dead. I couldn't give a shit that they were making a new Halloween movie. And I saw the first trailer, and that was it. That was the only trailer I saw. And I didn't even watch it like 20 times. I only saw the trailer once. I didn't even watch it. There wasn't really too much anticipation for this movie until when I went to go see Predator 2018, the new Predator, The Predator it's called, and I saw that ad in the theater, and that's what made me really become like a real horror fan once again. Once I saw that trailer and Predator, which I will defend Predator, but once I saw that Halloween 2018 trailer on the big screen in the theater, wow, on the previews to go see Predator, that's when I really got excited for this movie. That's when I really got excited. I just saw that opening scene. They showed that, like, the opening scene, and I was thinking in the theater, man, this is going to be intense for a movie. I remember, man. And that's what got the nonstop anticipation for this movie, like, pounding. And I remember seeing that opening scene in the theater. I really thought it was intense. And then, not only that, they bring back the pumpkin intro opening credits. Chills went down my spine, guys. And now my next positive, man. This movie is scary. For me, it was scary. I remember seeing this in the theater. This is one of the scariest Halloween movies to me. I mean, really, okay, this movie has some balls. First of all, the first kill of the movie, Michael kills a kid. And I remember seeing that in the theater. I didn't think Michael, because all the movies prior to this, Michael never killed a kid. You know, he played his jokes here and there, but he would always let the kids live. You know, he would never, like, actually kill a kid. And when he kills that kid in the car, not only does he kill him, like, it's pretty violent. There's no blood or anything, but, you know, he just smashes his head against the window and breaks his neck. There's no blood, but it's like, man, he actually killed the kid. I did not think this movie had the balls to do that. And I was just like, man, this is so good. And not only that, later on in that one track shot, which we will get into, when Michael Myers approaches the baby crib, normally I'll be like, no, Michael Myers ain't gonna kill a baby. But because of that scene earlier in the movie, don't worry, he doesn't kill a baby. This movie doesn't have that much balls. But I thought he was gonna, because of that earlier scene in the movie, when he kills a kid, I thought, no, man, are they gonna take it that far? And I got chills down my spine when he approached a baby crib. Now, I'm kind of mixed in the thoughts that should he have killed the baby or should he have not? Because, this is pure evil, and pure evil wouldn't have a problem with that, because they keep stressing that during this movie. But it doesn't seem like something Michael would do. Michael wouldn't kill the baby. Maybe because he thought the kid was in his way, and, like, the baby, it's not a threat. Like, the kid was actually, like, in his way and was gonna, like, well, the kid was running for his life, but maybe he thought the kid would tell somebody. I don't know, man. And maybe he thought, oh, the baby's harmless. The baby can't tell anyone but a goldfish. So he just didn't do anything and just walked away. But on the other hand, this is pure evil, and pure evil would have killed the baby. But, man, the suspense when he walked up to that crib, 0 to 100 does your heart rate go. I know you guys thought that. 0 to 100 for me, man. Man. And not only that, that entire one-take shot, that is a reference to Halloween 2, with him going into Mrs. Elrod's house and the other lady's house, it just shows the randomness of Michael Myers, how random it is. Because in this timeline, Laurie Strode and Michael Myers are not sisters. That plotline got introduced in Halloween 2, which doesn't exist currently. They are not brother and sister, so he's not going after her. She was the one who was going after him because she wanted to end all of this trauma that she had. She wanted to end it all and kill him. She wanted to confront her demons. She went after him in this movie. But back to what I was saying, it just shows the randomness of Michael Myers. He walks down the street and looks around. That house. That's my target. That house is my target. Walks up to the house, grabs a hammer. It's all one take. Such good cinematic filmmaking. I love the shot. It's all one take. Just sitting behind Michael Myers. Sitting, not shitting. Sitting behind Michael Myers, just following him. We see his process. We see him looking through the window. We see him grab the hammer. He goes in. The woman doesn't suspect a thing. She's in her pajamas, so she's not expecting that impending danger that's coming. She's not expecting it, so she's getting ready to go to bed. No, it's time for night. Sure, her guard's down. She's not expecting the danger, and then boom, he comes in, and they don't even show anything. The camera sits. We don't see the kill happen, but we just hear it. We hear like. And then we see a chair knocked down. We don't see anything happen. We don't see the woman die. And then after the kill's done, the camera goes into a room and we see the end result. We don't see we don't see it happen. We see the end result, which goes back to the original John Carpenter's Halloween, which shows that because the original Halloween was not gory at all. It wasn't gory. It wasn't gory. It relied a lot on suspense, and and this just goes back to that. It relies a lot on suspense and not too much gore. This movie isn't really that gory. It just went back to like the original, man. This movie just feels like a sequel to the original Halloween. Like, back to what I was saying, man. This movie is so good. I'm getting off track. He goes out the front door and goes to the other house. After he approaches the baby crib, he goes out the front door, walks to another house, looks around and sees, oh, that house. Crosses the street, goes into the house, stares through the window. Then we see him. I love this shot too. As he stares at the window, we see his reflection in the window, and then we see his reflection leave as the camera stays on the window. Then we see his shadow going through like the side windows in the house that we could see through the window. We could see his shadow, and then we see him come into the house through the window with the camera staying on the window and kill the girl. Wow. What a good shot. Man, this movie's so good. Oh, God. And let me just say, that bathroom scene, man, I remember seeing that in the theater. The bathroom scene, because these characters, yes, they did set Michael off with showing him the mask, but they really didn't do anything. They really didn't do no harm. They really were just like doing their job. They're journalists, podcasters, whatever the hell you want to call them. They were just doing their job. They seem like sweet people, British. Oh, where's the loot? They see like, nice, sweet people. And, man, let me just say, they are not ready for this impending danger that they just set off. They are not ready for this force of evil. They are not ready for it. Because that bathroom scene, when she's just, when Dana's just doing her business on the toilet, and, she's not expecting anything, there's some jokes there, like her looking at the other stalls, people don't clean up in real life. That wasn't bad humor. For me, I thought it was fine. But then Michael walks in, and when he walks into that bathroom, he doesn't even seem like a man. He seems like a force, and they don't... I never really realized this until about like 5 months ago. He didn't have his mask on, because he got the mask after that scene. But in the theater, I thought he had his mask on. But they didn't even show his face. They did great... I don't know, man. I was just so interested in, like, hooked onto this scene that I didn't even notice Michael didn't have his mask on. And he's just, like, banging the doors. He's just, like, pounding the door down. And, like, he drops the teeth. and she's like, you really feel for her, because, man, imagine being attacked like that on the bathroom. Like, you're sitting down, nothing, like, you're sitting down, nothing, it's bad enough that, you're doing your business, and it might, you never know, maybe it hurts, but you're just sitting down, and then he just comes in, and, like, your heart rate goes from 0 to 100, and I remember, I was scared during that scene, because the scene, it felt so real, like, and then her boyfriend comes in and tries to save her, and he's like, Michael, he goes to save her, but he's no match for Michael. He's 61. Michael Myers is 61 years old in this movie, and I didn't even notice that until, like, a few months ago either. But, man, because he doesn't... when he walked into that bathroom, his age was the last thing on my mind. Because when he walked into that bathroom, he was no longer a man to me. He was like a force. And when he, like, is pounding, like, throws her boyfriend away like it's nothing, and he's still trying to save his girlfriend with, like, every last, like, energy in him, even if he has to die to save her. He still tries saving her. Michael's just like, nope. Slamming his head against the stall door, trying to open it. His girlfriend's screaming for her life, and he's just like, he's just like, he's gone. He's not dead. And when that door pounds open, Michael throws him against the wall. He's gone, guys. Yeah, I mean, I know they show his eyes like a little open, like he's blinking and still alive in the last shot of that scene, but I was not thinking, oh, he's still alive. He was gone in that scene, man. He was just dead. He was dead. Not dead, but he was dead. Like, it was over for him. And the camera still stays on his face. They don't... they show his girlfriend getting killed. But after his girlfriend gets killed, the camera stays on his face. And he's thinking, man, I couldn't even save my girlfriend. She's dead, not just because I couldn't save her. She's dead because of me, because I had to show Michael that mask, and I'm the one who set Michael off. That's what he's thinking right now, when the camera stays on his face as his girlfriend is dying. That's what he's thinking. I'm the one who set Michael off. I'm the cause of my girlfriend's death. That's what he's thinking. Man, we're running out of time here. Oh, God, let me just get to a few more quick things. Okay. Another great thing, Michael Myers. James Jude Courtney as Michael Myers, not played by Nick Castle, which a lot of people think is Nick Castle walking. It's James Jude Courtney. He nailed it. I have no problem believing this is the same Michael as in the 1978 film. It seems very organic, the same. I believe that this is the same Michael in the 1978 film. He walks the same. It's the same. It's just the same. James Jude Courtney really knocked it out of the park with this role, guys. He nailed everything. The walk, the brutality, the non-brutality, the suspense, and the creepiness of Michael Myers, and the supernatural edge. He nailed it all. Whew. And Nick Castle, the only scene he played was the scene where he does this, where Laurie Strode is looking at the window, and he just tilts his head, and she goes to shoot him, but really she shot the mirror. He was standing at an angle, and the mirror was facing the window, and she thought it was actually him, but it was the mirror. And I didn't notice that in the theater. You know what I thought when she shot him? I thought she actually shot him in the head, and he's still alive. That's what I thought. She shot the mirror, not his face. But that's what I thought. That she shot him in the face, and he's still alive. So I'm like, oh my God, he's still alive. Whew. And especially that ending, I just love the ending. As like, all three of the Strode women are coming together to kill Michael Myers. He has like haunted their family for years. You know, the two younger generations of the Strode family, Karen and Allison, they don't think like the grandma is Laurie Strode, the protagonist who was 17 in the 1978 film. She's like the old crazy lady that always talks about Michael Myers and Michael Myers, oh, she's so scared. Oh, she's waiting for him to come back. She could come. Oh, she's a old crazy lady that lives in the house across the street that no one likes. Get off my lawn. That type of lady. And that's what they think of her. But that ending, they all realize Michael Myers is back, and we have to come together to fight him. And Judy Greer, I did not have a problem with playing Karen. I thought she was great in the role. Maybe one nitpick with the when she said, "Oh, I had nightmares about the basement." That one line, I thought, okay, a little cringeworthy. No, but everything else, like, she was great in this role. I thought she nailed it. Like, she's this woman. Oh, my mom taught me how to shoot a gun, taught me how to defend myself. Like, we had like lockdowns, fire drills, like all these like fire drills at my own house. I was taken out of school and was taught how to like shoot guns and stuff. And my mom taught me how to do this. And like, she was taken out of custody. She hates her mom for teaching her like about how to shoot a gun, how to fight, and how to like defend herself from the evil. Her mother basically killed her childhood, but it is all worth it at this point, because what you have been training for. Michael Myers is back. What you have been training for. If your mom didn't train you like that, then you would be dead at the hands of Michael Myers. But I remember in the theater, when Michael Myers comes out and is just lifting that cabinet off the floor, yeah, that was another thing. There was like a secret base under the cabinet, so they would have like a little hiding space if Michael Myers comes. When Michael Myers just senses that they're in there, he senses that Karen and Allison are underneath. He's just tearing the cabinet up. And I remember, I was not expecting them to just start tearing the cabinet up. I remember in the theater when I was watching that, I thought, man, he's not going down. And the music, John Carpenter's score is playing. I'll get into that with however much time we have left. And they're lifting up the cabinet, and I was like, oh God, no. I was scared, and chills were going down my spine. You just hear the score playing, and he just lifts the cabinet off the ground. That's how strong Michael Myers is. He lifts the cabinet off the ground, looks down the stairs, and then Judy Greer as Karen goes, "Mom, I can't do it." As she's holding the gun up, she's like, "Mom, I can't do it. I'm sorry." And then she tricks Michael Myers, and he comes out just standing there. And I thought, and then she goes, "Gotcha," and shoots him right in the chest, and he goes flying. And then Laurie Strode comes out, bangs him over the head with a frying pan, and then the confrontation between Michael and Laurie Strode, stabbing her, and she's stabbing him, she shoots him, and then they throw him right into the basement, that secret base under the cabinet. Turns out it wasn't a cage. It wasn't like a hiding base, it was a trap, because they pull back the lever which closes the gate, and like these iron steel bars come out and shut the trap. Yeah, the trap. It shuts it shut, and then the gas comes on, and then the lighter comes on, and the whole place just blows up as Laurie, Karen, and Allison just leave. The score playing. Oh man, it's so great by John Carpenter and Cody Carpenter, who made the score. It's just a really great ending. Also, forgot to mention, Allison as Laurie's granddaughter, I also love. I would really think it was interesting if she carried on this franchise. It would be really cool. Okay, 2 minutes left to get all my things out. Okay, love the score. It's metal, man. That's what it is. Not just the score, but this whole movie. It's metal, man. There's like a metal in the score. You hear. It's very metal. The kills in this movie are great. Laurie Strode's great as Laurie. She's really badass, so vulnerable. You could tell this thing has just been eating at her whole life. It's just great. Man. Halloween 2018. Alright. Let me know your thoughts on Halloween 2018 in the comments below. If you hated this movie, just say it. It's your opinion. This is just my opinion. You could have your own opinion. Now, alright. I give this movie 9 out of 10. Just 9 out of 10. I give it a 9 out of 10. I absolutely love this movie. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and like the video. Dislike it, I don't really care. Yeah, alright. Bye.